May 16th, 2025 could be the date you see on the tombstone of Airbnb. The magic number is now 7 months. If you don't live in your home for more than 7 months a year here in Montana, you're about to get hammered with new property taxes. In this video, we're going to break down the new law and talk about the impacts that it's going to have on short-term rentals here in Montana. By the way, if you want some behind-the-scenes footage of my new brokerage and how I make this channel, be sure to subscribe to my brand new channel that's called The Brokerage Project. I'll link it in the show notes, and if you like what you're seeing, please do me a favor and subscribe and hit the thumbs up button on this video so I can try and reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. As I've talked about in many other videos, ever since the pandemic, our housing prices around here have skyrocketed. And as you know, our property taxes are based on the value of your house. So if you bought a house for $200,000 10 years ago, now it's probably worth close to maybe even $1 million at this point, and your taxes are going to go up, and now you're taxed on $1 million house instead of a $200,000 house, which is what you could probably afford at the time. Because of this issue, a lot of longtime locals have had to sell their house because they can't afford the payments anymore because of the skyrocketing property taxes. And as we've also discussed, Montana is one of 4 states in the nation where our legislature only meets once every 2 years. So they haven't had a lot of time to fix this stuff, and 2 years ago, the last time they met, they didn't do anything about it. They gave a $600 credit or something that went away after a year. It was nothing. It was not helpful. So everybody's been screaming ever since for them to finally do something. Well, it looks like this year they may have done something, and there'll be some interesting side effects from this new law that they've just passed. One of the frustrations that a lot of the locals around here have had is all the out-of-state people that have come in here and bought up all the houses, and a lot of them have created a problem in the rental market as well, because a lot of the people bought up these houses or condos or whatever, and then they used them as Airbnbs or short-term rentals, which destroyed the rental market, because it took so many houses off of the market for people, the people that work at the ski hill, the people that work at the restaurants, or just people that want to live here. There just were very few long-term rentals or affordable rentals, period, because of the market and what it's been doing lately. So as I said at the beginning, on May 16th, the governor signed a new law that's going to have a huge impact on short-term rentals. What it does is that they thought it was going after out-of-state people that have come in and bought up all these rentals, but if they just went after out-of-state people, it would have been unconstitutional. So it's now written that anybody that has a second home, whether they're local or from out of state, if they don't live in that home for over 7 months a year and they use it as a short-term rental, their property tax rates on those properties are going to go up an average of 68%. And because of this, they're going to lower the locals, or the people that live in their houses full-time, an average of 22%. As usual, they don't equal out, and it's only a 22% discount, which is better than nothing for the locals, so people will be happy about that. But like I said, the short-term rental properties or second homeowners that just have a house to come up here in the summer, they're just going to get hammered with these taxes. And it's going to vary by county depending on the mill rates in each county, which is going to affect the total property tax. So one article I read said that in Missoula, with all of their mill rates and added tax, that the short-term rentals there may go up over 100% of what they are now. So this whole thing is going to be very interesting to see how it pans out. It definitely should help the people, and it should, get rid of a lot of short-term rentals because of the taxes. It just does not pencil out, and we'll look at that here in a minute. And if a lot of the short-term rentals disappear and people start renting them long-term, hopefully that'll be a good thing for the people looking for rentals around here, and it may even bring the price of rents down a little bit if enough of these short-term properties turn over to long-term properties. But again, this is going to be super interesting to see how this all pans out, and I'm sure the rest of the country is going to be watching, and I'm sure the Airbnb people are not going to be too thrilled about this. The people who are against this are saying that it's going to affect tourism because it's going to cut back on the amount of properties that are available, and they're claiming that it's kind of anti-business, since if you're looking to come in here now and just buy properties for an Airbnb or short-term rental business, a lot of these things are not going to pencil, and we'll look at that now. Let's take a look at 3 areas around Whitefish where short-term rentals are allowed, and I'm going to give you the numbers of how this new law is going to affect all of them, and you're going to be amazed at the amount of money people are going to have to pay now in order to operate these short-term rentals. So let's go take a look at these 3 different areas. So let's start out up here at Big Mountain Resort. What I did is I pulled a Morning Eagle unit that is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo, and it's currently listed for $1.5 million. So forget about that. Let's just say they gave you this condo to use as an Airbnb. Right now, the tax on that condo is $4,775. So you take that times 68%, that adds another $3,247 to the total, and it comes out to a total tax now, property tax, of $8,022. So the other thing about these condos is you have an HOA fee, and they are $4,051 a quarter for the HOA. So you take that times 4 quarters, that comes out to $16,204. The total between the tax and the HOA comes out to $24,226. That's just your carrying cost if someone gave you this condo right now. So I looked up Airbnb for one of these units, and it's renting out for about $287 a night. So you take that $287 and divide it into the 24,226. That means just to break even, you're going to have to rent that place out for 84 nights a year. Oh, and the one other thing I didn't tell you about that particular unit, there's a transfer fee of $15,690 that you as the buyer has to pay at closing. So basically, you have $1.5 million payment on the house. Whether you pay cash for it or finance it, it costs you $1.5 million, and you have all these other fees. So this doesn't seem like it's going to pencil very well. So now let's go down to the Quarry, which is right down on Wisconsin Avenue, kind of halfway in between downtown and where you go up to the ski resort. So I pulled a condo here. It's listed at $1.4 million. It's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath place here in the Quarry. And the tax on it right now is $4,109. So you take that times 68%. That's an added $2,794, which brings it to a total of $6,903 just for the property taxes there. Now, the HOA at this place is $723 a month, which comes out to $8,676 a year, which brings the grand total of carrying costs on this unit to $15,579. Again, I looked up Airbnb. The units in here are renting for about $371 a night. So that means you'd have to rent this place for 41 nights out of the year just to break even. And then finally, we'll go to the condos that are downtown, and I pulled one up. It's listed for $1.5 million again. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and it has a tax right now of $5,032. So you take that times the new rate, That adds $3,421 to it, which brings it to a grand total of $8,453 for the tax. Your HOA's $1,563 a quarter, which comes out to $6,252 a year. So your grand total of carrying costs on this one is $14,705. And these units are renting for $254 a night. That makes it so you'd have to rent this place out for 57 nights a year in order to break even. And I did the math on the height of our season up here is Memorial Day to Labor Day. We do get, some busy times during the winter, basically the week before Christmas and New Year, or the week between Christmas and New Year is super busy. But Memorial Day to Labor Day is only 99 days total. And basically there's 14 weeks in that span. So that's 28 Friday and Saturday nights that you have. And again, even if you rent it out every single weekend for 2 days, you're at 28 days rented out, and that's way below all those things you need to break even. And because there's so many of them right now, it's going to be really hard to make this pencil, and these laws are going to have a huge effect on the short-term rentals around here. So it'll be really interesting to see how this all plays out, how they try and enforce these new laws, and just how it affects Airbnbs and short-term rentals in general. So let me know in the comments what you guys think and how this would affect the area that you're living in right now.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.